warm welcome to our special broadcast on Rajya Sabha Television. I'm Neelu Vyas. December 16, 2012, a 23-year-old teenager was brutally raped and assaulted in a private bus on the streets of Delhi. This incident was so horrific, its memories so macabre, that it not only shook the conscience of India, but became a watershed moment in the history of Indian women's safety, security, and dignity. Post Nirbhaya case, a number of legal and social mechanisms were strengthened, but the crime against women continues to grab the headlines. 6 years down the line, where does India stand as far as women's safety in public spaces is concerned? How effective has been the enforcement of laws, and has the society at large, which includes parents, teachers, and families, succeeded in playing its role? All this and much more with credible voices today. Ashish Srivastava joining us on the program. He's Joint Secretary, Ministry from Women and Child Development. Vimpla Mehra next to him, retired Senior Special Commissioner. I welcome her on the program. And next to her is Nupur Tiwari, who's the Associate Professor and Head for Center for Public Policy and Planning. I welcome all of you on the program, and I would like to begin with you, Ashish. Given the fact that 6 years down the line, women have started raising their voices, they have started talking about their safety, their dignity, their honor, which means that the change is there, but a lot needs to be done. But what I want to know from you is that in these 6 years, since the time the Nirbhaya rape case happened, in terms of strengthening the administrative mechanisms and in terms of the effective steps taken by the government, what are those watershed changes which you would like to highlight?
Thanks, Neelu. You see, the issue is so deep and so wide, and we as a country and the government of the country and people all put together, we really are very, very sensitized and aggressively working on, bringing about the required change, which is where women are empowered and in all the possible ways, in all the ways. So, there have been a number of legal interventions and also administrative and governmental program and individual case approach based interventions, right, which are really a larger number. So there's been the criminal law amendment which has happened in 2013, which we all know about, which has brought about really watershed changes again in the law at the outset. Then further on, there's been an amendment in the criminal law in 2018. Okay. First, I'll talk about laws very briefly. Right. And of course, there are a number of acts, the prevention of sexual, the Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace Act of 2013 is there. There's the Prevention of Domestic Violence Against Women Act. Mm-hmm. And there are quite a few legal provisions which are available. The government has established the Nirbhaya Fund, which we all are aware of in 2013. And a number of very, very important interventions and initiatives have happened. And many of them are quite innovative also. For example, I'll just tell you one very important initiative which the Supreme Court also has endorsed just 3 days ago. On 11th December is establishment of at least one-stop center in every district of the country, okay, where violence-affected women can approach and they can be extended all kinds of help, Okay. So it's not just violence-affected. Any woman, any girl, even if she's apprehending any kind of violence, right, there also, for that she can approach. Right.
But Ashish, if I can interrupt you here, there is a lot of awareness as far as the women helplines are concerned. Yeah. But what do these one-stop centers, which are going to be there in every district, actually going to do? If you have to inform through this program the women who are wanting to approach, if they are in trouble, where do they go? How do they go? And how do these things actually come in place?
So one-stop center is going to be in the district, at okay, least one, in close vicinity or in the premises of a civil hospital or a medical facility there. Okay. And already 234 districts are running them. Okay. The government has already approved 654 centers, and right, we are progressing fast about commencing their operations. Mm-hmm. We are working on locating them in such a way that if a woman who is in a state of, there's psychological stress, there's mental stress, and there's, of course, a physical stress, right, which a woman probably in all likelihood would be in a state of at that point of time. So she should be, number one, able to easily locate it. Right. She should be able to easily enter it without, you know, having to face kind of social issues
Right.
right at the stage of having to enter it.
Right.
And those kind of, and once a woman reaches there, then she needs to be extended. The mechanism is being established. It's
Right.
already running in a number of places, as I just told you, to extend her all kind of hand holding and, you know, legal counseling, police help, psychological help, you know, rehabilitation, everything. And
So you
also
are
preventing
saying-
the perpetrators from repeating those kinds of things.
Right.
And
So-
you asked me about Women Helpline. So in 31 states and union territories of the country, already a Women Helpline number, which is a 181 three-digit toll-free dial-in code, is operational. And there have been till now more than 20 lakh calls, help which has, there have been 20 lakh, more than 20 lakh call-ins which have come. And help has been extended to women over Women Helplines.
Okay. So basically what you're saying is that in all these years, post Nirbhaya rape case, of course, legal amendments have been done, laws are in place, and administrative mechanisms are also in place. The government has provided infrastructure. But despite that, Vimpla Mehra, I would like to come to you, the fact that do you see any change, in the manner in which the police is handling rape cases when it comes to crime against women? In these past 6 years, has police really been able to change its mindset and change the way in which it is dealing with cases?
Yes, there has been a lot of change.
Okay.
And perceptible change one can see. There are help desks, at least Delhi I can talk about. There are help desks in each police station, so that a woman who is in a problem, she comes to the police station. So there is a woman who is sitting at the police station about to receive her complaint. So there is a proper reception given.
Which was not the case earlier.
Yes, it has started just about 4 years ago.
Okay.
So there is a help desk in the police station, which is like there is a lady constable or lady staff posted at this help desk.
Right.
So the reception to a victim is good because she is talking to a woman. She doesn't feel hesitant. So that's one thing. What we have to do is we have to do a long way in gender sensitization.
Okay.
Police has been doing a lot of work, but I think some changes have come, but more changes are still required.
Right.
Now we have not only women helplines, which we have just talked about. We also have receptivity at the police station. Women or the police is willing to help women who come to the police station. There are women help centers, women cells in all the districts, where women can freely come and talk about their problems. And the problems are being heard by women staff.
Right.
So they feel more comfortable.
But
so
when it
one-to-one
comes
discussion.
to the receptivity angle, and you just gave the example of Delhi, but
Yes.
what about the rural areas? How are they progressing on this particular front? Because obviously when you go to the cities or maybe the capital or the metro cities, you would have a woman constable at the reception desk. But what about the thanas in the chota gaon and rural areas? Would you find one?
There's hardly anything on that. Yeah.
Yes, Ashish, I'll come to you. Yes, okay.
Okay. Just, two small points. 17 states in the country, they already have done 33% reservation for women in police force. So just a point. And we are also working on Mahila police volunteers, which would be forward-looking and enabled women, especially in rural areas and also in urban wards, to act as liaison between violence-affected or women who are fearing violence, or anticipating violence, and the local police to liaison and to handhold them. So that is
okay.
there.
I'll allow Vimpla to
See,
complete her point
the
now.
issue is that
Yes.
now there is 33% reservation. Now the women will be recruited.
Right.
And the time which is taken for recruitment and the person to be delivering service is about 2 years. Recruitment process itself takes 1 year, and the placement after training takes about 1 year. So it's about 2 years after the women are recruited to be seen in the police stations to be working. And 30% reservation has just started, and most of the states may not have even recruited women.
Right.
They will be still planning how to recruit women and how to impart them training. So it's going to take time to see women visible in the police stations or maybe in police control room, vans, because the number is still very, very small.
You spoke about, right, and Vimpla, you spoke about the gender sensitization.
Yes.
In general, of course, gender sensitization has to happen at all levels, on which I'm going to come to Nupur. But talking about the gender sensitization of the police force per se, I have seen of cases where you walk into the police station and the SHO is going to be very nonchalant towards a woman, or maybe the inspector on duty is going to be very nonchalant. He doesn't know how to deal. He doesn't talk to the women properly. So what about the gender sensitization of the police force? How far has that reached? Are they now sensitive enough to deal with women who come with their grievances?
No, a lot of effort has been made to sensitize men. But you see, the police force belongs to the same society. And whatever kind of mental makeup we have, we still have to go a long way, because the training has yet to yield or show proper results that we expect the police officers or the general society to have positive attitude towards women. If women have problem, they need help. So they need a special help. They have to be heard. They have to be given some confidence so that they feel they don't feel vulnerable after the reporting. So I think we have a very, very long way, and a lot of work needs to be done, still needs to be done.
Absolutely.
Something is happening, but it's still, I think, a lot of work still needs to be done.
Right. The NCRB data, Nupur, says that, despite all the effective measures taken by the government as far as infrastructure, legal framework, all that is in place, but the number of cases are rising. What do you think is the biggest reason for the number of cases which are rising as far as the sexual assault is concerned, as far as crime against women and children is concerned? That's on the rise.
As a social scientist, I have many things to say and talk about, right, starting from the unit to the national level and international level. Well, of course, NCRB data says that in year 2000, the crime against women, or what was reported, not that everything is reported, was around 4,000 cases that were recorded, and it has risen in 2013 to almost like 14,000. I mean, gone way too ahead. There's another very important report that came out was Thomson
Reuters,
that is Foundation's report that was highly criticized by National Commission for Women also because of its small sample size of data. But they have covered all the variables where they say that India is the most dangerous country for the women to be in. And not only that, it's also leading, it's ahead of Syria and Afghanistan, which is absolutely...
But if the sample size is so small, as you're saying, and I'm not getting into that particular report because that's not the objective of the program.
These are the rigors of
But is the situation that alarming, you would say? To say that India is the most dangerous country in the world for women?
That is what the data says, the empirical data says, because the variables that they have taken is like how many crimes, the violence against women, women trafficking, child marriage, mortality rate, women, domestic violence, which are not reported even. So even though the sample size is little, small, as per the data says, but definitely that's a trend analysis. There's a situation analysis. Yes, it is there, and they have said that it's even ahead of Syria and Afghanistan. So it's, and another very important thing is why every action is taken once the incidences happen. Like Vishakha case. Vishakha guideline came after Bhavari Devi was, gang raped just because she was trying to stop the child marriage and all the things. Then all the working women like Vishakha and a group of women came up with, FIR in 1997. And on the basis of guideline came that sexual harassment is not just a physical harassment, but also leads to number of sexually colored remarks and various other things which are not allowed at a working place or asking for sexual pleasures and all. Of course, it has a good, I would say, impact on the society and also for the working women who are working at the workplace. You have women harassment cell and other things, especially at the university level and all.
No, but of course, all these things are happening. What I'm asking is that despite all the available frameworks within which, the offices and within which the organizations are functioning, you have a legal framework, you have all the mechanisms in place, but despite that, the crime is increasing. What, according to you, is the main reason for this increasing crime against women?
I would say that we cannot just, we have to depend on data. Yes, it says, if it says, we have to believe that. Otherwise, how would we? But more of women are coming and reporting since they know that there's a legal framework. They know this is a criminal act. They know, especially women in a street in Delhi, will not tolerate anyone passing a lewd remark. They will definitely call 100 number and will call the police. The police is getting more friendly. So the records are more increasing. One number I would say, because more women are coming up. Earlier they were not. Domestic violence were never reported. But apart from that,
and that it's a positive
that
sign.
could be, yes, now they are coming up. Earlier everything was hidden. We didn't know how many domestic, they didn't even know what is domestic violence. There's more of a defamiliarization by all these acts coming up, laws and gender sensitization, not only for women, also for men. So
So Ashish, as Nupur was just saying that of course more and more number of women are coming out, they're raising their voice, talking about whatever brutalities are happening against them. So what is the biggest challenge for the government right now? Because the reportage is increasing. What is the biggest challenge for the government?
I won't say reportage increasing is a challenge, because it's a good thing.
No, of course it's a good sign.
It's a good thing. The challenge for the government, I think we all need to approach the issue as a society, as a country, and also as individuals. And of course, the government is there to play a very, very concrete and definitive role, which it is working upon very aggressively and very actively, I would say. With a lot of analysis, internal analysis, which has gone into it and which always continues to go. So the point is that every individual is important, and schematic and programmatic interventions and initiatives all are important. I would say every individual is important. And, we have very active systems in the government, in the Ministry of Women and Child Development, in the National Commission of Women, in with POCSO, with the National Commission for Protection of Child Rights, in the Ministry of Home Affairs, where also very recently a cyber cell has got started. And so
you have a safety
initiatives.
division also under the Ministry of Home Affairs for women.
Okay. There's a clear-cut, newly established, not so newly, but about a year ago, half a year ago, it got started, and it's very, very active. So all this is there, and the government is extremely sensitized, very proactive, very progressive. So I don't know how you want me to further speak about it. One more intervention I can there's an emergency response system. For any girl who's apprehending any kind of personal violence at any point of time, any space, any place. Wherein it's already got started in the states of Himachal Pradesh and Nagaland. And we are working on starting it in a larger number of states on 24th January, which is the National Day of Girl Child. And so in this, the facility for dialing 112 on mobile would be there, and immediate help is
So basically you have all the schematic interventions in place, but what I want to draw the viewers' attention now to is what Prime Minister Narendra Modi in 2014 said, and then we come on to the larger role of the society per se, what it is doing, and what he said about changing the mindset towards the male child as well. Let's listen into Prime Minister Narendra Modi, what he had to say in 2014.
आज जब हम बलात्कार की घटनाओं की खबरें सुनते हैं, हमारा माथा शर्म से झुक जाता है। लोग अलग अलग तर्क देते हैं, हर कोई मनोवैज्ञानिक बनकर के अपने बयान देता है, लेकिन भाइयों बहनों, मैं आज इस मंच से मैं उन माताओं और उनके पिताओं से पूछना चाहता हूं, हर माँ बाप से पूछना चाहता हूं कि आपके घर में बेटी 10 साल की होती है, 12 साल की होती है, माँ और बाप चौकन्ने रहते हैं, हर बार पूछते हैं कहां जा रही हो, कब आओगी, पहुंचने के बाद फोन करना। बेटी को तो सैकड़ों सवाल माँ बाप पूछते हैं, लेकिन क्या कभी माँ बाप ने अपने बेटे को पूछने की हिम्मत की है? कहां जा रहे हो, क्यों जा रहे हो, कौन दोस्त है? आखिर बलात्कार करने वाला किसी का बेटा तो है, उसके भी तो कोई न कोई माँ बाप है। क्या माँ बाप के नाते हमने अपने बेटे को पूछा?
So you just heard what Prime Minister Narendra Modi had to say. But as a society, Vimla, I want to know from you that what Prime Minister was just saying, have we really changed our mindset when it comes to the role of the family, when it comes to role of the parents, the teachers? How much have we changed really? Are we asking those questions within our family?
I think after Nirbhaya case, lots of parents have started thinking about it. They have become more sensitive because of the outrage it created. But I still feel that parents are still very protective about their daughters, and they are still not very actively thinking of changing the way boys are thinking or behaving. So I think we need to work on a war footing to change the mindset of men, and especially in schools, the children have to start thinking about it. And women have to be treated like human beings. They are not to be treated as sex objects as we see today. Anybody who is looking at women, they have different view, and they don't look at women as human beings or respectable individuals. So we still have to change a lot of, the mindset has to change a lot.
Right. So not enough is happening within the families, you're saying?
I think not enough is happening. We still pamper our boys. We give them all kinds of freedom, and still there are restrictions imposed on our daughters and girls. That you should behave like this, you shouldn't go out at night, you shouldn't wear this and that. Still restrictions are there because men have not changed the way they look at women.
Absolutely. So how does this mindset change? When you say that you pamper the boys, you don't pamper the girls, you have to make the girls or the women realize that they do have the right to enjoy life. They do have a right to come out and speak about themselves openly, but that is not happening. So how do you bring about this change? Fundamentally.
Fundamentally, the whole concept of defamiliarizing, now I call it as a term as defamiliarizing, is very difficult. You already have a mindset.
Can you just explain by example?
Like, women should wear this kind of dress, that is expected. If I ask my girl, ask my daughter not to put on the particular kind of dress, you know, she would question me, definitely question me why. But there are certain things which I am aware of. So I'm aware of, that is what I'm familiarized with. So defamiliarizing someone or saying someone that, woman is expected to, or girl is expected to behave in this manner, to walk in this manner, to speak in this manner, not to put certain kind of dresses which may be not a threat to her, is something which is a mindset thing. Now, you'll be surprised that even in Nirbhaya case, when the judicial committee was set up, they asked the reason for this kind of assault on a girl. 88,000 people said that police is responsible, government is responsible. Very few said that the society is responsible. The social system is responsible. Or for that matter, you have to change it.
And I remember by the conventionality prism with which the society sees the girls, she was perfectly normal. She was in a proper dress.
And to my utter surprise, there were many educated female women holding a good positions also told that girl that why she was out at the time and why she was, her personal security and safety is in her hand.
Absolutely.
So these are the things we have to think about it. Where are we leading the society to? Are we prisoners? Are we just imposing? Are we judging our girls in a way which they should not? At one point, we are providing such good education. They are going abroad. They are doing so well. But even as an educated mother, I am quite concerned about just unit if I take up for my daughter. And for that matter,
that's a very important point she made. One last thought before we wind up the program.
So de-stereotyping, as ma'am said, I think it's absolutely very, very important. And kind of re-engineering our, social psyche. We need to stop falling. I feel we need to stop continuing to be mentally ill. As a society, our social psyche needs to really, really change. And we need to be very kind of working on the grassroots and working at all other levels.
So rather than blaming the government, rather than blaming the police, it's the fundamental thinking of the society where the actual change will begin. Yes. So empowerment is a process that creates power in individuals over their own lives and society and in the communities. And our Vice President had said that, Venkaiah Naidu ji has said that empowering women means empowering humanity. And of course, a safe woman will be an empowered woman. With that, we bring this episode to a close. I thank all my guests, Ashish, Vimpla Mehra and Nupur Tiwari for joining us on the program. Goodbye and thanks for your time.